Hi, hello, good morning, and welcome to Spardha Lines Daily Hindu Analysis. Today we have picked up a couple of important articles from the Hindu, the Indian Express, and Deccan Herald, which are very significant from your KS examination point of view. So, what is that you have to do? Hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also share it with your fellow aspirants as well. That apart, as you all know, we have been reiterating that Spardha Lines Current Affairs Test Series will be starting off, and this will start off when include some of the important topics from the state, national and international current affairs, central state government schemes and programs, Karnataka Economic Survey, Karnataka Budget, Karnataka GK as well as mental ability. And this will cost about 899 and it is free for the Spardha Line students. For those of you who are opting for English, you would be able to take up the current affairs test in English, and those of you ಯಾರ್ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಈ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀರೀಸ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. So what is that you have to do? Join this test series so that you would be able to unlock the doors of cracking the KS examination. Let's get started and look into the first article for the day. The first article says 6 Congress rebel MLAs disqualified in Himachal Pradesh. The article here is speaking about the Rajya Sabha elections. We're not going to discuss about the Rajya Sabha elections because we did discuss in the last 1 week how the Rajya Sabha elections take place, how the system of closed ballot became a system of open ballot. What was secret ballot became eventually a open ballot primarily to ensure transparency in the system, all of which was discussed in the last 1 week. But what is our focus today? Our focus would be primarily with respect to disqualification of these rebel MLAs. How does it work? Let's say for example, when it comes to the Rajya Sabha, what you will have is a party whip. This party whip will basically issue a whip which is nothing but a direction to the members of the political party, basically to vote to a specific person or to a specific political party or the person whom they wish to see as a member of the Rajya Sabha. But what has happened in the state of Himachal Pradesh? Despite directions issued by the people, despite directions issued by the party and the party whip, there were few MLAs who had casted their vote to the opposition political party. Ideally, they should have voted for their own political party, but instead of voting for their own political party, they have voted for the opposition political party. This ultimately means breaching the directions of the party whip. So, the party whip had issued directions. They had said that you should be insisting or voting to a specific person, but instead of doing so, they have voted to an opposition political party, and that is why the party whip and now the party has decided that there will be MLAs who will be disqualified. Now the question is, how will they be disqualified? They will be disqualified as per Schedule 10 of the Indian Constitution. Schedule 10 of the Indian Constitution basically speaks about anti-defection law. Anti-defection law allows a political party to basically ensure that a person is following the directions of a political party. If at all the directions of the political party are not followed, are not intended to be followed, in that case, disqualification proceedings can be taken up with respect to this individual. There was one of the landmark judgments which we did discuss recently as well with respect to Kuldeep Nair versus Union of India. What was this judgment all about? There were a couple of questions asked. Can secret ballot now become open ballot? And at the same time, whenever there is a person who is getting selected from a specific state, should that member be also from that specific state? This is the second question. The third question is, when we are speaking about elections, what exactly happens? I vote for a political party. I vote for a candidate who is contesting the elections. When I am voting for a candidate or for a political party, it basically means I can vote and choose and pick whomsoever I want to. I can vote for candidate A, I can vote for candidate B, I can vote for candidate C, so on and so forth. Similarly, when there are people from different political parties who are contesting in the Rajya Sabha, these people are equivalent to the voters. Yes, MLAs, yes, a political party, yes, be given directions by the party whip as well. But I am a voter when it comes to the Rajya Sabha elections. I am acting equivalent to a voter who is voting in the general elections. So in Rajya Sabha elections, it is the MLAs who ultimately select the MP to the Rajya Sabha. While I select a member to the Rajya Sabha, I become equivalent to a voter. So when I become equivalent to a voter, am I entitled to pick and choose whomsoever I want to? Why? Because when it comes to the general elections, there is a person who is selecting a person on his own choice, on the basis of his own parameter, on the basis of his political will and the inclination and an ideology. Similarly, when it comes to the Rajya Sabha elections, I may like a person who might also be from a different political party. So can I violate the whip or the directions issued by my political party? So this was also the question that was asked in Kuldeep Nair versus the Union of India. So what did the Supreme Court say? The Supreme Court answered two important parameters. What did the Supreme Court say? It said that when it comes to the elections in the country, it is more so about transparency. It is about free and fair elections. When you are insisting on corruption and bribing and making a problem to the electioneering system, in that particular case, in order to reimpose the faith on the transparency, rule out corruption, what can be done? Open ballot system can be introduced, said the Supreme Court of India. So what did the Supreme Court say? In order to rule out, in order to eliminate, in order to ensure that we have free and fair election, corruption has to be rooted out. How do I root out the corruption? By ensuring that there is transparency. How do I ensure transparency? By showing open ballot system. So instead of secret ballot, what we will have is an open ballot, and it is this open ballot which will ultimately allow transparency in the system, free and fair elections in the system, and ultimately free and fair election is part of your basic structure. We are ensuring that there is democracy which is intact and following the principles of transparency. That's one concept. The second concept is with respect to whether these individuals who are voting in the Rajya Sabha, the MLAs, can they be disqualified? So what did the Supreme Court say? The Supreme Court said that when it comes to the party whip, he issues a direction, but there might be a person who might not follow the direction issued by a political party. In that particular case, they cannot face the disqualification, but the political party may take disciplinary action. So what did the Supreme Court say? The Supreme Court said that the elected MLA of a political party would not face disqualification under the 10th schedule for voting against their party candidate. He or she may at the most attract disciplinary action from a political party. So this entire disqualification that has happened in the present situation, that cannot be initiated, that cannot happen under the 10th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Similar to how in general elections people can select their political party or their political candidate, similar person who also has a choice to select whomsoever he wishes to cast his vote for. But since he is also violating the party politics, he is violating the whip of the political party. In that particular case, you cannot disqualify him under the 10th schedule. But what you can do, you can take disciplinary action from the political party, ask him, investigate him, and ensure that he is up to the political party's wishes as well as the ideology. So you cannot disqualify him under the 10th schedule, but the political party would be able to take disciplinary action. The Supreme Court also upheld in Ravi S. Nayak and Sanjay Bandrekar vs. Union of India that voluntarily giving up membership under the 10th schedule is not synonymous with only formally resigning from the party to which he belongs. The conduct of a member, both inside and outside of the house, can be looked into to infer if it is voluntarily giving up the membership. So the next question was, what is this voluntarily giving up the membership? Voluntarily giving up the membership basically means that I have become the part of another political party. I have given up the membership of my political party. Let's say party A is where I belong to. I win the elections, but then I have given up the relationship with this political party to join another political party B. So I have moved from political party A to political party voluntarily. But there are some actions which also needs to be taken into picture. What does it? Let's say for example, I belong to political party A, but then there is political party B I support. So what do? Despite me being an MLA or an MP or a person belonging to party A, I go on to support political party B, which ultimately means that I have voluntarily given up. Let me give you an example. Let's say for example, there is a person who is from party A, and he happens to support party B openly. He says party B is the best political party. He starts abusing political party A every now and then. His support to the political party becomes very evident. He also supports political party's decisions as well. He always is with the political party B's members as well. Any member or any bill that is being supposed to have been presented in the Rajya Sabha or in the Lok Sabha, you should have ideally listened to what the political party A says, but instead he follows what is political party B saying. So instead of following the ideology and the entire premises or the process or the proceedings of political party A, he ideally follows political party B. So this means he, being a member of political party A, acts as a representative of political party B. So this also means he is voluntarily given up. Despite he holding the membership of party A, his actions are in such a way that he is acting as a representative of political party B. Even in such a case, it means that he has voluntarily given up his membership. So it is not necessary that he always goes ahead and wins the elections for another political party, or he is not following the party whip. But it also means if he is supporting political party B despite being a part of political party 1, that is also equivalent and synonymous to he being voluntarily giving up his relationship with respect to that political party, says the Supreme Court of India. So what can be the way forward? It is to be upheld that the higher principle of free and fair elections and its purity, that the court upheld the system of open ballot to the Rajya Sabha elections. However, the instances of cross voting in the last decade have defeated the intent behind this procedure. It would be wishful thinking to expect any further amendments to strengthen constitutional laws against such voting practices. So the Supreme Court has to decide whether this disqualification can be taken up, where the political party person has cross voted to a new political party, is what is this article all about. Good morning, Mahirani. Yes, there are 3 whips that are there, which is called as 1-line whip, 2-line whip and 3-line whip. And as part of the assignment, you have to put on the comment section, what is this 1-line whip, what is this 2-line whip, what is this 3-line whip, is what you have to put on the comment section. Wali, good morning, good morning. Please do interact, please do put up your questions, and we will answer all your queries in this session. Now let's look into the next article for the day. This article speaks about cyberbullying. Let us try and understand what is this article in greater detail. The first, we have to understand the meaning of bullying. What is bullying? Bullying as a form of aggressive behavior in which someone intentionally or repeatedly causes another person injury or discomfort. Bullying can take the form of physical contact, words, or more subtle actions as well. So what is bullying? Let's assume for a moment that I am a child. Yes, I am a child at heart. So I am a child who is going to the school, or I am going to a college, whatsoever be it. So when I am being targeted by a group of individuals, or I am being targeted by an individual who has much better muscle power or money power, when I am constantly being irritated, when I am constantly asked to do something which is not right, when I am constantly asked to do which according to their mandate I have to follow, this is similar to teasing, or this is similar to stalking. Even if I don't want to do it, because they are making me do it forcefully against my wishes, is what is called as bullying. So the bullying can be physical and it can be emotional, it can be psychological. What is physical bullying? Physical bullying is where I would be asked to do certain things physically, or they may hit me, they may also cane me as well. So against my wishes, when they are acting or performing a certain action which is against my wishes, that is what is bullying. So the bullying can take the physical form, it can take the psychological form, it can also take the mental form, where I am put under stress, I am put under dilemma, I am put under a certain condition which is against my wishes. So I would go through stress, emotional problems, and ultimately I may enter depression as well. That is what is called as bullying. Now when this bullying takes the platform of online, or on the online media, or on the cyber world, or on the information technology front, that is what is called as cyberbullying. For example, I post an image of myself on Instagram, or for example on, let's say for example, on Facebook. So what do people do? I leave the comment section open. The child would have expected that her friends or his or her friend would start commenting like that particular video or the photo, so on and so forth. But there are group of people who immediately start abusing the child, and they may start giving ugly spat about the child's appearance as well. They may start bullying as well, irritating that particular child. So when bullying moves online, it is referred to as cyberbullying. And what happens over the digital services like cell phones, computers and tablets? It can occur through SMS, texts and apps, or online or forum or gaming. Cyberbullying includes sending, posting, sharing negative, harmful, false or mean content about someone else, and sharing personal or private information about someone else, causing embarrassment or humiliation. So when the child enters the platform of online portal and when the child is bullied, that is what is called as the cyberbullying. This topic is important from your GS paper 3, which is more to do with your internal security. Whenever a child enters this particular phase, what would happen? The child would not want to interact with the people. It would not want to interact with its friends in the school. It would not be active when it comes to the education. It would not be interactive with the parents as well. Why? Because it is going through an emotional stress. It is not able to overcome the barriers of the cyberbullying. There can be images, there can be videos, there may be fabricated images, there can be morphed images as well. These villages somewhere test the child's mental capacity and the mental emotional strength as well. And ultimately, when the child is not able to overcome that particular phase, the morale of the child depreciates and the child would not want to interact or take part in any of the activities. So how do we overcome this particular issue? So when it comes to the cyber, what we have to set is healthy tech boundaries. So what should the parents do? The first 4 components basically speak about what parents should do. They should track what the child is doing. Initially, when they are during a specific period of time, they are always on Instagram, they are always on Facebook, they are always on YouTube, so on and so forth. When they are constantly on an online platform, they are exposed to different kinds of videos. So it is better that we watch out what is the kind of videos that they are constantly watching, whom are they interacting with, what are the kind of interactions that they are having, and set a healthy boundary as well. For example, if it is a child between so and so age group, they have to use mobile phones for only a specific period of time, and within that specific period of time, what type of content are they going through? Everything has to be taught and watched by the parents. Educate them about cyberbullying. What should the parents do? For example, if they are parents who know what could be the likely and negative consequences of cyberbullying, they should interact with the students. Basically, they should interact with their own kids, which basically means they should tell them that if at all you're going on Instagram or you're not keeping it as private but it is a public one, there will be people who will stalk on you, there will be people who will start irritating you, there will be people who will start abusing you, they will give you ugly spats as well. So it's better that you keep it as private, example. Or for example, they will start abusing you as well. So in order to ensure that they are emotionally and psychologically backed up, the parents should educate them about the cyberbullying. They should also create awareness about the mental health illness. What, for example, there are people who would constantly want to be in the gaze, so they are expecting a certain amount of likes and comments. The likes and comments does not appear, and as a result they go through the emotional pain. When they have the emotional pain, the parents should identify that there are certain characters or there are certain problems that a particular child is going through and ultimately comment on the same as well, and encourage the child to communicate. If at all the child is going through a problem, the child should have a comfort zone, a good zone, so that it is able to interact with the parent. So build this relationship with the child so that the child is able to come back and expose its problems to the parents. These are the first part. The second part is about the role of the teachers. The teachers should also bring in an awareness. They should also educate about the cyberbullying, speak about the negative consequences of cyberbullying so that other people, their friends, do not engage in such activity. And the larger premise is about the role of the education system. The role of the education system is to inculcate value-based education, moral-based education, ethics-based education, and also ask the students not to do or perform a certain activity in this particular backdrop. So when we speak about cyberbullying, it is requirement of the teachers and the educational system and the students as well. All these people and the parents will have to come together so that ultimately this cyberbullying is eliminated. It is this that we have to understand with respect to this article. Now let's look into the next article. This article says private members bill on cloud seeding get note. There are two important parameters here. One is with respect to the private members bill. The second is with respect to the cloud seeding. What is this private members bill? A private members bill is that particular bill that is introduced by a member of the parliament or a member of the legislative assembly. Who is this member? Any member who introduces a bill who is not a cabinet minister or a council of minister happens to be a private member. For example, let me tell you, there are MLAs, or for example, there can also be MPs as well. So this MLA is part of the legislature. So once an MLA becomes the part of the legislature, if their political party happens to go on to form the government, within the government there are few people who become part of the council of ministers. Only if the council of ministers introduce a particular bill, that is what is called as the government bill. Rest of the people, if they introduce the bill, that is what is called as private members bill. Let's assume for a moment that there is a political party A. It is this political party A which is in power, but this political party A has about, let's say hypothetically, about 224, let's say hypothetically there are about 150 odd MLAs. Out of the 150 odd MLAs, let's say there are only 24 MLAs who are part of the council of ministers. The rest who are part of it are part of the political party, but they are not council of ministers. So even those who are not part of the council of ministers, even if they introduce a bill, it is called as a private members bill. So remember, it is a private members bill when it is not introduced by a council of ministers, it is not introduced by an executive. That's the first parameter. The second parameter is with respect to the cloud seeding. What is cloud seeding? Basically, let's say for example, for a very long period of time, there are no rains in a particular region. Drought-like conditions have been created. So what do? I do not have any other source. So what do? I engage in new field of technology called as the cloud seeding. What is this cloud seeding? Cloud seeding basically is a weather modification technology that can create rain in drought affected areas and also help in fighting the air pollution. So what do? There will be an aircraft that will be employed and they will start using the silver iodide, dispersing the silver iodide in this particular area, and there will be cloud formation that takes place and ultimately it will cause the rain. So scientists use aircraft or rocket to inject silver iodide or another substance into the atmosphere to mimic. So once the cloud has enough amount of water or it has the formation of the rain forming cloud like importance, that is when it will cause rain. So clouds often lack naturally occurring ice nuclei, so injecting them with the silver iodide particles increases the number of nuclei. So it makes the clouds more efficient at generating ice crystals that either fall as snowflakes or melt to produce raindrops depending on temperatures in and beneath the cloud. Cloud seeding is also used to disperse fog banks near some airports, and at the same time, let's say for example in a place like Delhi, there is a lot of fog, there is smog like conditions. So if at all rain does occur, what we will also be able to settle is the air pollution. So one is to address the issue of rains, the second is to address the issue of pollution. Good morning Nitinji, good morning. You're late for the class today, you should have attended at 7:45. However, thank you for watching these classes and continue to watch these classes so that you would be able to gain this knowledge. Now let's look into the next article for the day. This article says understanding the world of informal waste picker. On March 1st every year, what we have is a day of observation called as the International Waste Pickers Day. These waste pickers across the world will pay homage to the fellow pickers who were murdered in Colombia in 1992. So March 1st is celebrated as International Waste Pickers Day. What is this article speaking about? The article here is speaking about the importance of the informal waste picker. Who is an informal waste picker? When there is an institution or a company which employs a certain people to pick up the waste, segregate the waste, and ultimately ensure that this waste is recycled, that is called as formal waste picker, which means they are employed by a company, they are employed by an institution, employed by the government. But when it comes to informal waste picker, who is this informal waste picker? He is a person or she is a person who is not employed by an organization or by the government. So if at all they are doing on their own terms and conditions, they are picking up the waste that exists within that particular region and ultimately segregating it and giving it to a particular institution despite not being employed by them, those are called as the informal waste pickers. This day, the International Waste Pickers Day, is usually taken up or it is observed basically to identify the rights of these informal waste pickers. For example, they live in deplorable conditions. They do not have enough source of livelihood means and programs. How much of money they make is yet not ascertained in a specific period of time. So ensuring that they are provided the basic amenities, they are provided a fixed amount of money, and they are also able to embrace other economic activities apart from this is why this observation happens. Shashi, good morning sir. Good morning Shashi. Nitin C, your constitution class preamble very informative sir. Please take it regularly. Yes, that session is called as Polity Decoded. Yes, I will take up another class. So in case you want me to take up a specific topic, let's say you haven't understood an article or you haven't understood a concept, please do let me know. I'll pick up that particular topic and will go live on that topic so that in case you have any queries, you can also ask questions as well. So whatever topics that you want me to explain on the Indian Constitution front, I will explain it to you. Now coming back to what this article says is, the article goes on to say that we have few parameters. For example, we have an institution, or for example, we have the extended producer responsibility. What is this extended producer responsibility? Apart from the informal mode of picking up the waste, we have the institution whosoever produces the waste, they have to ultimately ensure that it is cleansed and recycled. For example, let's say we have the e-waste. What happens in the e-waste? We have the mobile phones or the laptops which are generating a lot of waste. Who is the producer here? Let's say for example, we have MacBook, or for example Samsung, or for example any other company for that matter. So whosoever is producing it, they ultimately will have to collect this waste through a specific means and a channel, but have the extended producer responsibility, which became a mandate through a specific law. Is it including the informal waste pickers for this particular process? No, they have not included them. And at the same time, we also have the solid waste management rules of 2016. Under the solid waste management rules, they have already mandated the inclusion of waste pickers in the municipal solid waste management system. But evidently, in the extended producer responsibility, where the producers should have included these waste pickers, they are not included. And at the same time, despite the mandate and the law and the rules and regulations mandating inclusion of the informal waste pickers, they are yet not effective in place. So what this article goes on to say is that when there are laws and mandates that are already present, to make them part of this process, instead of not doing so. So basically this article says that when it comes to the informal waste pickers, we have to make them part of this process so that they are given the right entitlement. When reliable estimates of informal waste pickers are difficult to come by, the Center for Science and Environment reported that informal waste economy employs about 0.5 to 2% of the urban population. Many are women, children and elderly who are often disabled, and at the same time, the Periodic Labour Survey 2017-18 indicates that there are nearly 1.5 million waste pickers within India's urban workforce, with 500,000 being women. So we have to employ them, give them productive means and mechanisms so that they would be employed, is what is this article all about. Now let's look into the next article for the day. This article says Cabinet okays 75,000 crore free electricity solar scheme. What is this article speaking about? The article here is speaking about PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. PM free electricity scheme. What is this free electricity scheme? This is unlike the scheme that is being followed in many states, where you have the free electricity that is given by the government that happens to be a freebie, so-called freebie, but they will take money from one of the schemes and they will impose more taxes in some other scheme. It's ultimately that. But this is a beautiful initiative taken by the government. What exactly happens? Lay the solar panels on top of your house, or for example, lay the solar panels in the land that you have. This will generate electricity to you. So basically you are empowering the people to ensure that you have free electricity, not by the government giving it, but you are using these solar panels on top of your houses. They are providing you the means and mechanism to employ these solar panels on top of your house, and through the electricity that is generated to the solar panel, they are giving you free electricity. That is an innovative thought. Not making use of the generated power, give them free. No, that's not the means. Use these kind of innovative thoughts to ultimately ensure that the people are provided free electricity. So to promote rooftop solar installations, this particular program is initiated. So PM Surya Ghar or Muft Bijli Yojana is to promote rooftop solar installations in India. The scheme envisages providing 300 units of free electricity every month to 1 crore household. However, it is not immediately clear how the scheme officially unveiled would result in free electricity. So basically what would happen? You will lay is the solar panels on top of your house. So you will have is the solar panels that will be put up, and this solar panel will have a separate meter as well. So the electricity that is generated will ultimately go to this meter. They will know how much of electricity is generated. It is this generated electricity which will be given to the people free of cost. And that is the beauty of this PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. They are providing you something free, but that is not directly through the power station, but that is through the renewable energy sector, and that is the beauty of this particular scheme. So the PSU or its affiliate agency would be responsible for taking out a loan to finance the component not funded by the central subsidy. This loan would be paid to the bank by the consumers selling surplus power produced back to the grid. So if at all they are generating more power and they have ensured that more power is generated, they have already used this power, they can also sell it back, sell this particular power and also repay back the money, is what is this article all about. Godse says, sir, with the folded smiley and then emoticon. Good morning, Godse, good morning. Now let's look into the next article for the day. This article says India begins second part of critical minerals auction worth about 362 billion. The first important parameter that we have to understand is there is no universal definition of critical minerals. What are critical minerals? Critical minerals are minerals which are important for that particular country, which that country identifies as critical for its own economy. So United States of America may have about 50 minerals which it assumes are critical. United Kingdom may assume that there are about 10 critical minerals which is important for their economy, and India may feel that there are 30 minerals which are important. So generally when we say critical minerals, they also have other names as well. Let's say for example strategic minerals, strategic and critical minerals, energy transition minerals. So what are these? The raw materials, minerals or metals that are necessary for renewable energy, clean technology, transition to a more sustainable low carbon future is what is called as the critical minerals. For example, lithium can be one, cobalt can be one, then there can be nickel as well, then there can be gallium as well, then there can be platinum as well. So what will help you transition, run your economy and moving from the general based economy to renewable energy based economy? For that you will require few minerals, and that is what is the critical mineral. So we have the Government of India, the central government, which has amended the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act through the MMDR Amendment Act of 2023, where 24 critical and strategic minerals have been inserted in Part D to the Schedule 1 of the MMDR Act, which have been identified as critical and strategic minerals. So about 24 critical and strategic minerals have been added. So how will it help? This will help us in transitioning towards clean energy and a low carbon economy. For example, if lithium based batteries are being employed, so what would happen in that specific case? What we are transitioning or is moving is from the coal based economy or fuel based economy to what is called as the battery based economy or the electric vehicles. So when we are transitioning, the amount of outcome or the carbon emissions have reduced over a period of time. This ultimately means that we are mitigating the impact of the climate change. These minerals will also be used in the defense, aerospace, nuclear and space applications, all tech-based industries as well. Ultimately, we are driving the country. We are also mitigating the impact of climate change, reducing what is called as the carbon emissions. And that is why critical minerals do not have one single definition, but whatsoever that country or that region specifies and perceives and believes are important for its own country, that will be categorized as critical and strategic minerals. Now let's look into the next article. This article is important from your preliminary examination point of view. We have one of the places called as Tbilisi. Now what you have to do is put on the comment section, where is this Tbilisi? Because such questions are always asked in your preliminary examination. So this article says, is NATO membership in the cards for Ukraine? Why is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization still wary of admitting the war-torn country to the alliance? Is what you have to read. We will not be taking up this article because we will be coming up with an elaborate video for the same. But however, please go ahead, read this article until we come out with this video for the same. So do you have any questions for the day? If there are no questions, we will wind up this session. I'm assuming that you've understood all the topics for the day and winding off this session. Thank you for watching, and if you're liking these initiatives, please do hit on the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel and also share it with your other aspirants as well. Have a good day. Take care.